A very good morning. Just so you know that responsible citizenship is the hallmark of every promising society. And indeed, this is a best requirement for sustainable national development and nationhood. We will need the insights and the critical thinking skills to fight poverty and homelessness. Now, crime and discrimination and making our nation fairer and freer. You need the creativity and the integrity you develop in all your classes to build new companies that will create new jobs and boost our economy. Now, responsible citizenship can equally mean self-development with a view of becoming better prepared to make a positive contribution to society. It also implies the appreciation of the values of our differences and the dynamism of our diversity as a means to contribute towards the overall growth of society. To contribute worthily to the growth of this country as a responsible citizen, your acquisition of basic knowledge, skills, and a positive attitude are fundamental requirements. Now, the hallmark of any national development effort is seriously dependent on how responsible the citizens are. The concept of development at every level of individual implies increased skills and capacity, greater freedom, creativity, self-discipline, responsibility, and material well-being. Now, to bring this context to context, I'm delighted to have Mr. Fajil Mandi, a senior educationist, and Mrs. Semko Irene from the National Secretariat of Patriotism Corps as a district coordinator, and I'm Andrew Chamagiro. This is Uganda Fast, powered by the National Patriotism Corps Uganda. Join this conversation on Twitter and other digital platforms. It's an honor to be in your presence, Mr. Fajil Mandi.
Thank you very much.
And it's an honor to see you, Madame Semko.
Thank you, sir.
Tell you what, Madame Irene, when I was young, and he was still by then the Minister of Education, I stood tall to my teacher and I told my teacher, that is not within my right. I know my right because he told us so. Then the news anchor was Andrew Simon Kawesa, and through the program you had with him, that's where I picked all that. So it's an honor to be in your presence.
Thank you very much.
And we are building a nation of concerned citizens. As the country seems to be transcending to go to another level of development, are our citizens ready? From your lenses where you sit and stand, are we ready as a country for the transformation?
Well, I think we are not ready.
Okay, passing on.
One, first of all, we are lucky in terms of the population growth. We are among the fastest populations, growing populations in the world. But as far as skills, mindset are concerned, we are very low. We have a lot of hands, a lot of eyes, a lot of brains, and a lot of body parts. But these body parts have not been trained in such a way that, one, they enable the individual to develop and enjoy life maximum, and also cause development in the environment, because we lack the skills, we lack the right knowledge, and also we lack the right mindset to drive us into that force.
Okay.
And this is not only in Uganda, but Uganda, we begin with our motherland.
Country, yes.
But this is the same thing happening in Africa, that we are one of the most endowed continents on earth, but the least developed continent on earth. What does that mean? So, I think that we need to do something very, very, very urgently and very fast in order for, one, for people to live longer in life, okay, and also enjoy life. Enjoying meaning I don't have to go dancing every evening, but I enjoy life because I can satisfy my needs, and I can also contribute towards doing a job and building my country. You get me? So I think that we are still backward, and we need to start now. If we have started in some areas, for example, in education, we need to somersault. I call it somersault. Are you getting me? Without making breaking things. You get me?
Yeah.
So that we move, because the population is growing so fast. The number of unemployed people is increasing every
It's worrying.
The living age has improved a little. I mean, we are thinking now we are about 53 or something like that. But when we look at our other human beings, like the Chinese and all this, they live about
going to
an
90s.
average of 90s. Are you getting me? So why not? That means we have to rework and do things differently.
Madam Simko, Mrs. Simko, when you hear conversation of a very pertinent, grounded educationist, he comes from the school of thought that the software needs to be upgraded. The labor work, the hardware seems to be in place, but the software is not well, grounded. When it gets to the mindset, how are we going to tilt our generation, our country, to a transformative mind?
And that is the mandate.
I want to add, just to add, that this lady here is also an educationist.
True.
Yes.
Maybe I can begin from there.
Yes, that's a great one.
I'm a teacher of English language and literature in English, which I have been teaching approximately for 33 years.
Jesus. Wow.
Yes.
Good to see.
Jesus has
You
been
can
there.
say
You said it right.
I know. That's a strong manpower you have in our industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Currently, I'm a deputy head teacher at Kansanga Seed Secondary School and still teaching.
Wow.
Yes.
It's a calling.
Yes, it's a calling.
Yeah.
You said it right. Now, I agree with one of my mentors, Mr. Fajil Mande. From the time I started as a teacher, I have seen him in the education system. It is true that, going by your topic, transformation, national transformation, the teachers surely should be at the forefront. And when a country is planning for transformation, it has many strategies, uncountable strategies.
MP3s, yeah.
Everything now, latest, we have
the
a parish
national
model.
teachers policy was rolled out.
All those are strategies for transformation.
Yeah.
Now, we as teachers, being at the forefront, government recognized that we will be very useful in this transformation.
True.
That is why the patriotism ideology started in schools. Not started, was revived. It had been there for such a long time.
It was revised, and I'll tell you what, Madam Simko, when I was young, Fajil Mandi here will bear witness with me, I come from the Nakawa division, and our representative in the Constitution Assembly was a man called Wumatete. You remember him? And we used to be taken to where there is the new Ntinde market from Chaka drills. And the ideology was so grounded that you have to protect your country back in the days.
Yes. It was a requirement for anybody to join a public university to be drilled into that first.
Yep.
That as you get into the public university, as you pursue some course, you have Uganda at the back of your mind.
National service.
So it kind of slackened, and then it was revived, beginning with secondary schools. That is the mandate of the teachers. And yet the teachers at the forefront of manufacturing products that will transform
the country.
So that was a right decision by His Excellency the President, beginning with secondary schools. And in the patriotism mindset change program, it deals with what Mr. Fajil Mande has said. For us to go forward, you called it software.
Yeah.
Yes, the software must be upgraded. And that is what we are doing in secondary schools. Upgrading software. Mindset change.
Upgrading, it's a critical one.
That is our mandate, to deal with the mindset. The economists deal with the economic part of it. The security people deal with that. And for us, we are dealing with the software. How do we teach young people to think correctly?
And rationally.
Correctly first, and then rationally next. They must learn how to think correctly first.
Yes.
That Uganda first. Some Ugandans around here say it so well. Okusosowaza. Kusosowaza Buganda. Now we want to kusosowaza Uganda.
Yes.
Uganda first. That we teach the young people, beginning with them, love themselves, love their school, love their home, multiplier effect, love the country.
And it goes on and on.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Consciously, deliberately, that they start to think in a certain direction.
Yeah.
That they have grown up in places, in homes, in schools, where they have been taught to think otherwise, in a perverted way. That for you, even to have books in class, those of us who work in universal secondary schools, that government must bring the exercise books to you.
The mindset.
Mindset from parent to child. That if your shoes are old and you are not getting new ones,
Blame the government.
somebody's responsible.
The government.
If your uniform is worn out and you need a new one, somebody's responsible.
Yeah.
No. Mindset. Software upgrading. That we are responsible for everything. That is why when they get to schools, they go through what we call orientation.
Yeah.
They go through orientation when they get in senior 1 and senior 5. The orientation is lengthy and intended to impart
As well as disrupting.
and upgrade the software.
Yeah.
Beginning by telling them simple things, but which, after they hear them for 4 years in school, after 4 years, the software will be upgraded.
They're aligned.
That I love Uganda, I serve Uganda, I sacrifice for Uganda, I'm loyal to Uganda, and I love myself.
Wow.
You unpack them one by one. After 4 years,
They're already aligned.
the software will be upgraded.
Mr. Fajilmande, when you listen to what she's saying, she's Mrs. Semoko gets the strategy and says that the strategy can be so good, but if the culture is not well aligned with intention and deliberate intention, we are not in the right direction. You, as someone who is one of the architects of the education of this country, weaving all through that, the role of the parents in transforming the citizenry of this country, are the parents aware of this? Or are we very busy running after Mwogo? It's now a Mwogo economy. The president told us to have Mwogo.
I reaffirmed my belief after the attack of COVID that the 3 schools in Uganda have failed to work.
And what are those 3 schools?
The first school is the home. I am made to begin with at my home, the home school. And I'm not talking about this new concept of homeschooling. I'm talking about that the foundations in me, who I am as Fajilmande, were put there by my mother who I grew up with, my grandmother who I grew up with. That is the first school.
That's the values they send
That's
down.
why the first, nearly, may I call it about 8 years, you are really developing all your potentials, which God packed you with. You get me? So that school has not been tackled. I am glad, as we are speaking now, that the Ministry of Gender and
Labour and Social Development
actually has produced and published what they call a parenting guideline.
Yeah.
Okay,
I got
and
one.
I know the history of that.
Yes.
What is left now is actually those guidelines being made popular and being taught to the parents, because we are assuming right now that the parents can buy a book and read it and so on and so forth. So, and then what is left is actually the content. What is it? You know, I have about 2 books on my computer which are not yet complete on how we can select what to teach the children at home and how we can train the parents. You get me? So that school has not been. That's why you see during COVID, the parents were all crying out, "Please take back the children." Take back the children. It is not because they loved school so much.
Yes.
They wanted to get rid
They
of
didn't
this
know what
burden,
to do.
the burden of the children.
So
You
they
can
usually
imagine
send
the
them out
parents-
because they're burdens?
Yeah, of course. And you can't blame them. I mean, the parents don't know. I have used this image. I imagine the parent who has got a university student, and that university student has been at the university, at school, which means away from home,
yeah.
for 18 years. This father doesn't know how to look in the face of the boy or the son or the girl. Because
They're detached.
he has not been, they've been detached. You know, we have this major big disadvantage, okay, or big disarrangement, that actually the early years of the young person, all of them are spent at the school, the formal school. 3 years nursery, primary 7 years, secondary 4 years, A level 2 years, then the university. A total of about 20 years.
It is now
away from the
parent.
The parent. Away from the school that actually introduces this child to opening up their talents and also understanding the community and what takes place.
And discover more.
The second school, which is critical, we have no community school. You saw how during COVID, there was nothing that was being done. I mean,
as a community.
You and me and the population out there, you were made by 3 schools. The home school, the community. That's why when parents are looking after the children, they say, my child, if you don't listen to me, the world will teach you. Meaning that actually our job of education is to get the citizens to be able to be constructive members of the community and learn from there. Now, which training programs are taking place in Uganda? We used to have, when I was growing up, long ago at in Samizi or even the sub-county headquarters, we used to have community training programs for mothers, for health. The health inspectors would go and train people, community development officers would go and train people. People were being trained. Otherwise, when we speak about an individual citizen rebuilding Uganda or building Uganda, transforming it, you cannot transform Uganda without transforming
yourself,
the citizen,
and the
individual. And you can only do that by continuous training all the time. Okay, we are not doing continuous training. The moment you have finished senior 4, you finish, you sit back, but we haven't. So that third school, how many skills can you teach people? You talked about the Paris model. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
How many people have we trained
to receive it,
going down to the ground, up to the parish level? But you need to have the citizens trained, all of them.
The critical mass to receive
make it work. 2, to appreciate and benefit from it. Are you getting me? So that school is completely dull and void. All the officers who had been prepared, and I'm talking about community development officers, district health inspectors, all those assistant agricultural officers, one of their jobs was to see the services being carried out well, but also training the people. Are you getting
the community?
Who is training the community now? The answer to me, as a citizen, is that training is not taking place. There might be some training in the churches, yes, because the church structure has remained working very well.
And the mosques.
But which other training, other training structure do we have? So those 2 schools are dead, and they have killed the beginning and continuation of learning and training an individual to suit and build a community. Then the formal school. For me now, my summary is the formal school, which is from nursery, primary, secondary, and university, all right? Is there, the structure is there. I mean, how many vocational training institutions have been constructed? You are just saying you are in a seed school, which was constructed recently.
7 years ago.
But the problem is, actually, for me, I use a brutal word. The current school system is a killer system.
Right there, hold it right there. You're going to.
Then I will explain.
Yes, you're going to break it down. We are having a conversation, Uganda Fast. I'm Andrew Chamagiro, and the conversation is getting heated up. This is what we love: honest and comfortable conversations that make a country better. The number is right on your screen. If you're one of those watching from wherever you're watching from, be a part of the conversation. Drop me a WhatsApp on Twitter. It's Uganda Fast. I will actually tap into that conversation. Back to you, Uncle Fajio. It is you used a very brutal word, but I love the conversation.
I'm a writer.
Yes.
And I'm a dramatist also.
I'm
a literature product.
Jelly. So it is a wrong teaching system, a wrong education system.
Absolutely.
How do we fix this now? Because we're trying to transform the country to a greater height.
Let me first draw what
the context.
I use, the context. I always tell people, look at a typical senior 6 boy or a typical senior 6 girl. 1, do they know how to walk properly? My answer is majority of them, and when I say majority, I'm talking about 98% of them don't know even how to carry their body. They even don't know how to carry their hands.
And the shoes.
Number two, do they know how to speak well, to use their mouth? You call any number here to come and give them an interview. Maybe you have a training program here, you want to recruit people. How many of them can speak clearly, using the natural mouth to speak clearly? The answer is they don't know how to open their mouth, they don't know how to speak. Do they know how to critically look at things and interpret them? The answer is no. Are you getting me?
Yes, I do.
So during the process of the school system, they've been shrinking instead of developing and flowering. Are you getting me? Because why do they do this? I've had workshops, training programs, and I think my last one was in Mukono. I met a group of 187 students who were a mixture of A-level, O-level, and so on and so forth. And I'm telling you, one time, and I've done this several times, and I've talked to many students, I asked them how many of them in that term had lifted the hand and put up their hand in the class.
To answer questions.
The answer, the hands which were put up in that
Conference.
where we had the conference room, there were 37 students who had put up their hand.
Out of?
Out of the 187 who were there. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Now, putting up a hand was just one example. I was talking about how many of them had actually developed their bodies during the process. Because 3/4 of the time a child is just seated in the class actually drying up on the chair. They don't move out, they don't go out to do anything. Even some of them, the breaks have been eliminated. Number two, I asked them how many, and by the way, I want you to remember that I think about 12 years ago, there was a research finding that our children are increasingly suffering from dental decay.
Yeah.
Why dental decay? Because in the class, they hardly open their mouth and oxygenate their mouth.
Oh dear.
They are just seated there. And the teacher is talking and talking. After that, maybe they write some notes and so on. No talking.
Yeah, the interaction.
Not doing. Are you getting me? And actually, very little doing anything. So at the end of the senior 6 or primary 7, the child is shrinking and drying up. The natural talents which God packed us with,
They're not explored.
they are dying. They are withering. That's why you find that actually a child who finishes senior 6 on the average in Uganda is not a much better thinker. He's not even a better worker. He's less and less the lazy bum. That's why the biggest unemployed number of people are those who have been longer and longer at school today.
They're the lazy.
That's the picture. We are actually the school system, because of the methods that are being used, because of the content which is covered instead of what should be covered. Are you getting me? And the activities, like for example, co-curriculars. How many schools are even teaching a subject like physical education? I can tell you,
We don't have them anymore.
Consultant. 98% of the schools don't teach PE.
Yeah.
We
Now
started
it's
by saying
compulsory.
that we talk about the soft skills, but the soft skills also must continue. We must also continue training with the hard skills, because I must continue training this body.
Oh, yeah.
I am because I am. You want me to love my country because I am, and my country is supporting me to live and be somebody. Are you getting me? So the young person is shrunk out, not vigorous, not blown up. So that's why I'm saying that is the situation
We need to transform.
what do we do?
That's where I'm coming.
Yeah.
Mrs. Mko, when he speaks this way, he makes me realize the hard truth. The biggest unemployed youth of this country, they have stayed in the school longer. And the more we have looked for education, we have just gone to pass, not to understand. Some of us, we just pass the exams. We're prepared to pass exams, but we don't seem to understand. If we are meant to transform this, and we are focusing on the students, let's come back to the teachers. Now that we are from COVID-19, we had 2 years of break. The teachers needed psychosocial therapy and support in one way or the other. They are the forefront of the coming generation. How best can we prepare them to transform the future generation, but in tandem transforming themselves as well, because it's the mindset. Every other day I hear people saying that we need more salary, we need more money. Now in the exit plan, if someone asks for more money, they're not exploring other possibilities that are.
Yes. In answering your question,
Yeah.
I want to go to one of the vital points he raised. That in transformation, people are very important.
Yeah.
In fact, in transformation, people are possibly the most crucial resource.
Yeah.
We have many other resources that are important, but people are the most crucial resource.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, that is what he was saying. And so, patriotism takes care of teachers also. Yes, teachers are also trained.
Yeah.
Teachers also need to have mindset change. Their software also needs to be
Upgraded, yes,
for them to be able to upgrade
to the need that is
the
coming.
learners. Okay. I am.
And I think you
I am one
that a teacher can't give what they don't have.
What they
Of
don't
course.
have. I am one of the products of those trainings.
Yeah.
The initial, you can call them
They were very
historical.
organic. Very organic
So
courses.
the system has gone on. Secretariat every year trains a good number of teachers to take them through the mindset ideology. So they transfer that mindset ideology to
the children.
to the children, because it is a crucial source. Like I have told you, the young minds are vulnerable, and the young minds must be guided. They must be told what is right from what is wrong. They must be told that if you are a crucial resource, there are certain things that you must know. That for you to crash the windows of your school when you are angry,
The posture is not enough.
no, you are going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
That is where all the loves come from. Patriotism, it is about a collection of loves. So, the young people are crucial, the teachers are crucial, and Patriotism Secretariat is doing it well. Like Mr. Fajil Mande has said, it may not be to a very big percentage, but we are surely walking to the right direction. We are walking to the right direction. We can't have everybody trained at the same time,
Yeah.
but that is where we are heading to.
Now, Mrs. Simko, all that is really good, and I love the structures we're using. We're using the schools, we're using the mosques and the churches. So what happens to other Ugandans who are not within these structures? The ones who are school dropouts, maybe they're not there. Maybe they have not attended school. They're deep in Namagera in my village, and they're just languishing around the village.
Okay.
How do they tap into this patriotism conversation of transition?
When a program is beginning, it must begin somewhere.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so when the patriotism program was beginning, it began from secondary schools. It rolled out to tertiary institutions, PTCs, nursing schools, higher institutions of learning, the technicals, the UCCs, then to universities now.
Yeah.
After universities, to other people now. In Kampala alone, this year, I think we've had 3 trainings for the youth who are out of school.
The ones in the ghettos. Yes, we've seen
Precisely.
the ones in the slums, yes.
Yes.
I've visited a couple of them.
Yes, about 3 such trainings.
Yeah.
The program can't roll out to all spheres at the same time,
That's
but surely that is where it is heading to. Yes, this year, like I've said, 3 trainings for young people. Last year, I think we had 2 for business community in Kampala, so that they are told ideologies which are crucial, which are crucial. That if you're a business person, how well will you put Uganda first
You know what do you do?
in your business? Dodging tax, overcharging people. Where are you putting Uganda?
Oh, yeah.
If you are in the ghetto, how do you put Uganda first? That is how the Secretariat has got to them. Do you put Uganda first by waylaying people and murdering them when they are fellow Ugandans? Do you put Uganda first by sitting at home in the ghetto?
And you just don't go work.
From 8 a.m. And somebody is responsible for your breakfast,
Yes.
for your lunch,
And for your well-being.
supper. How then will you contribute to the transformation? You can't.
You gotta work.
You've got to work. Everything that enables you to work is in place. It is there. To begin with, God did it. 2 hands,
2 legs, you are alive, you can
and
process.
you have a brain. The country has ensured that you are secure. You can walk all day. What else can you do to contribute to the transformation of
the
Uganda?
country? Well, the conversation is still going on. A couple of you are sending in some messages. Let's read some feedback here. It's a Uganda Faster powered by the Secretariat, the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps. This one says, thanks for the service. We need also to change the mindset that majority of Ugandans think the word president means Mr. Museveni and vice versa. Ambrose Beyonjera from Isinjiro district. An environmentally clean Uganda is my pride. Thanks for the show. This is a conservationist. This one says, good morning, Uganda Fast. This is Mataya Richard from Umbali. Training the school-going children to be patriotic is such a good move. But the challenge is even teachers who could offer training themselves inadequate of patriotic skills. I think priority should be given to them, embracing all the teachers. If possible, the ministry should inculcate it into the syllabus. Otherwise, it will remain a song. Thank you so much for your feedback. Keep the feedback coming on Twitter and on the WhatsApp. The number is right on your screen. Just drop us that. Fajil Monday.
Excuse me. In the new syllabus,
Yes.
patriotism is there.
In the National Teachers Policy.
In the new syllabus.
In the new syllabus.
In new syllabus for
It's
senior
part
one
and parcel of it.
It is there.
Well done. That's great. Mr. Fajil Mande, earlier on you're saying how we are fixing this, because the way you broke it down, I felt like I'm in, the think tank of suits trying to fix our country. So how do we fix all this, Mr. Fajil?
Well, first of all, our own mindset. We who are in the driving seat. I am worried that we are beginning to be satisfied with very little.
We are complacent.
Yes, because I've been involved in the patriotism training. I was involved in the Muchaka training programs earlier. Are you getting me? But we are saying we are in a crisis. And when you're in a crisis, you cannot work the same way you've been working. And I want to quote the president, I think, in the other Kisanja, not this one. I heard him say, really, that we shall not work the same way we've been working.
Things have changed.
I think he added there, Kisanja hakuna mchezo. Mimi bado nasikia hii mambo hiyo. President alisema namna hiyo. And really, I think that who has changed the way we've been working? Ask me, at my age of 74 years now, I don't see any major change which has taken place in Uganda as far as we are, the way we are working. Have we improved on our time management in Uganda?
Very poor.
Have we improved on our absenteeism in Uganda?
Yes, we have.
Absenteeism?
In some areas.
Which ones? I am talking about the whole of the civil service and all this. Have you had anybody being disciplined for failing to keep time?
No,
anybody being disciplined for failing to be present?
No.
Are you getting me? Even the children's absence in the schools and all this, that one has been fought, but it has not. I am saying we need a fundamental change in the way we are working. In short, as a country, all of us, we must agree on a new method of work that will be practiced everywhere. The medics are working like this, the teachers are working like this. I am using this, I'm using methods of work from the history of the movement or the government. Are you getting me? That during the Bush and the earlier days of the NRM and NRA,
the liberation
we had methods of work.
Okay.
Tell me anybody who is talking about methods of work in Uganda today.
None.
And I'm telling you, you know, I know somebody who is talking about that. I know the Prime Minister has talked about it. But Prime Minister talking about it doesn't mean it is a system that they can't. I'm talking about a national system of how we work. Which can be monitored and evaluated
Over time.
and be measured. Because that's another weakness. Are you getting me? We don't have clear methods of work so that even when a child is going to secondary school or even university, he knows that in my country, this is how we work.
We don't have a
Are you getting me? Number two, when you don't have how you work, are you getting me? Okay? When you don't have the method of work, you know, then you cannot even set your goals and monitor, because we are very weak. Apart from the methods of work, we have very many goals. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
But monitoring them and following them to letter A, that's one of our weakest points. Are you getting me? So really that means that one, we have to change how we are working. And when we are talking about mindset, we are talking about not only the young people who we want to train into patriotism. Are you getting me? We are talking about mindset of everybody.
Yeah.
And let me use this opportunity to talk about mindset, because there is also a lot of confusion that is coming up these days. We think that anything is mindset, but I agree, mindset can be, but there is 6 killer mindsets which we need to articulate very well,
as a country,
which come from our history and up to how we are now. One, we suffer from a mindset of inferiority as Ugandans, as Africans. Instead of thinking we can be superior and super. Number two, we suffer from victim mentality. A mindset. I am a victim, you know, for me, Bansera, Banchawa, Nzendi Mudugavu, I am like that, you know, I am a victim. Somebody is sitting on me.
Because I'm black.
Then there is, of course, the self-hatred.
Oh, yeah.
We have this thing which we have inherited from the time we were colonized and even before. We have hating even our color, hating ourselves. Are you getting me? Then, of course, we have got the copycat. Now you see it on people walking and growing bodies like they are seeing on their Facebook, whatever it is. There's hardly any original person. Are you getting me? Even the TV programs and all these are being done according to what, you know. So there is that self-hatred. I mean, the copycat.
We are not organic.
Particularly copying what the whites have done. And not necessarily what is good in us. Okay. Then, of course, the other one is hardism. We believe so much that what other people do, you automatically do. Like somebody comes here and says, you people, what are you doing there? Come. People are running there. You go. And you just fall, and then you ask, where are we going? I don't know, but we are
you're running.
You know, that is hardism. And then one of them, which is the sixth mindset, is the elite dilemma. The elite. You know, the farther somebody goes into the education system and goes and gets degrees and so on and so forth, the more confused that person becomes.
They get it.
They don't know which way to take, whether the African way or the European way. They don't know whether they should take what they believe in or what other people. So we end up totally confused. That's why in Africa and in Uganda, actually, the elite have not contributed so much
to the transformation of
the country. Because of the system that they have gone through and the content which they have had. Are you getting me? So that's the killer mindset. Now, which programs do we have in the country? Yes, we have got a bit, I call it a bit of patriotism. And I'm not ashamed to do that. I am one person who thinks that we should have burnt the country already now. Remember one time we did Mchaka, and Mchaka was done in every part of Uganda. With us. Ugandans. What has happened now? Why haven't we taught everybody, taken everybody through patriotism? We have even failed to start up the school of the national service, which was supposed to come up. That
should have
we haven't got it. So I think we have this problem. We think that with the little is enough. I am saying that little is not enough. You and me can do 10 times more, even 100 times more correctly and faster. But we have adopted the speed of slowness. Quarter and polar, again and polar, you know, and that is a killer disease we are suffering.
It is taking us down. Mrs. Semto, you really want to supplement on this?
Yes, I do. It is true that we are beginning, not in a very big way, but we are beginning.
The
problems he spoke about of the mindset, are part of the values that patriotism cherishes. The ones that we continuously, deliberately impart into the students.
Every day.
And like I said, after 4-6 years, you may not measure that it is 50% or 60%, but it will be there.
Yeah.
In the patriotism mindset change program, some of the values we cherish are time management, hard work, discipline, fear of God, and that is Mr. Fajil Mandei's worry.
Yep.
That people are not taught to keep time.
Time.
We do it. It's one of the values that patriotism cherishes. And when you introduce it to the young people,
They pick it up.
And by the time they are adults and are working somewhere, the values will be there.
Yes.
Yes. The hard work,
Will be there.
we sing it continuously in schools. The value of hard work, the value of time management, the value of discipline, so that by the time they come out of the school system, like I already said, the multiplier effect will be felt. I am not saying that I am happy that we are doing it slowly, but I know that with the time,
We have to start from somewhere.
you have to start from somewhere.
Indeed.
And surely after 10 years, the schools are not what they used to be. No, they are not. They
Things
are
have
not.
changed.
There is a change. There is a change. There are signs that the software is getting
There.
upgraded. Yes, some of our students have started working, the ones that we started with. Yes, in the places where they work, their employers report. Okay, I have one of my first leaders in Old Kampala. He's a mechanic, trained from Makerere University.
Wow.
His clients report that his work method is different. He's time conscious, he's disciplined,
He's grounded.
he's grounded, he does things well. Yes, one is an engineer in KCCA. Those were the first leaders we had in Old Kampala. So the multiplier effect is there. We don't just let them go. Somehow we go after them and we find out.
You still track.
Yes, we find out. Okay? So, given more time, more resources, and we continue grounding these values that we cherish, the effect will be there.
This is some call. Someone here on Twitter says, a very good morning. That is a very good conversation. But how do you train someone to love your country? I grew up loving my parents. I mean, even if when we clash left, right, and center, I would still love my country. This is a waste of funds talking about teaching people how to love the country. This is a question that is.
To that?
Yeah, this is a question that has kept coming. People saying that love cannot be taught.
That same question can be asked. Can you teach a child to love his mother or his father? The answer is yes. It is natural that a child will love a father, will love a mother. Are you getting me? But you need actually to carry out certain activities and certain thinking in order to make this child love the parent. How many children have hated their parents? Very many. Are you getting me? Not the majority. So even for the country, you see, we are talking about you are born with the potential for love. But how you develop that love
It is another game plan.
is another game. And you
Yes.
must be trained how to express love. Are you getting me? I know God packed me with love. I know God packed you people out there with love. But how you love and what you love is something that we can work on. It's important, and I've heard many people, some Ugandans, we are as bad as that a Ugandan now begins to say that to love one's country is actually a waste of money.
Yeah.
You can see how bad we are off.
He has been taught how to hate Uganda.
He has
The
been
one who
taught how
sent
to
you the
hate
message.
Uganda. Are you getting
He
me?
has been taught
Yeah.
how to hate Uganda,
get me?
how to hate all Uganda programs, how to hate everything.
Things are not working.
And
Things are not-
you see,
nothing.
you remember what we talked about? We suffer from self-hatred. You hate yourself so much that you hate even your country. How can you hate a country, Uganda, whose air you are breathing?
That is God's air.
Number two, yeah, God's air, but it is Uganda air. This is where you were born.
Yes.
Number two, how can you hate Uganda or not love Uganda? Where you get your food from? Your food you eat comes from the soil of Uganda, not from the soil of Kenya or America or China. It comes from the soil of Uganda. Number two, how do we get, how do you dislike a country or hate a country where actually you are growing, you are going to school too, there is no war, there is no famine, there is nothing suffering here, we don't have cold weather, we enjoy weather all the time. Are you getting me? How can you fail to love what supports your life? Because Uganda supports my life. I will not be what I am. I will not be Fajil Monday. I will not be 74 years now. Are you getting me? If Uganda had not contributed to my and if I did not know how to use my Uganda to be what I am. I've been able to teach since 1971, and I've enjoyed teaching very, 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 very much, training teachers, being headmaster, and so on. I've been able during that time to write even books. I'm now about to publish my 8th book, and I've said that by the time I'm 80 years, I will publish 15 books. I must leave behind 15 books minimum. Are you getting me? Now, I would not. I have got my children. Are you getting me?
And your
6 children, 6 children, 4 boys and 2 girls. All of them have never been dismissed from a job. They have never failed to do a job. They are working. I won't tell you where, but they are working and they are disciplined.
Because
I'm a judge now, a grandfather of 18 grandchildren of very successful. And last week I was in South Africa to see my great grandchild. You get me? I need a clap there.
You need a clap.
Are you getting me?
Well done.
I would not have been able to bring up those children with an ugly Uganda, with the dying Uganda, with the Uganda with wars, with Uganda where there is hunger, with Uganda. I have been able to do what I have done, and I'm sure even the gentleman or person who's you were able to even send that message. Because of Uganda.
Which is a waste of money.
So you cannot, you can have love, but love begins with you.
It needs to be taught.
And you need to love the country. And you need to be taught. What should you love? How many, for example, I'll give an example. One time I was arguing that we need a program where we need to see the rest of Uganda all the time in our school system. Are you getting me?
Yep.
So that a child can be here and knows where even NTV is and knows what is taking place in Apache, what is taking place in Gulu, what is taking place in Kapchorwa, what is taking place in Kisoro. Are you getting me? Because all that is their land. And their wealth, the forests, the treasures, the minerals belong to you.
As a Ugandan.
Love
As a
them.
Ugandan.
Well, right there, let's start some feedback coming in from online here. Give us your feedback on Twitter. The hashtag is Uganda First. A couple of you have been dropping some message here, and I'll read some that are coming through. Let's just stay civil, comrades. Let's just stay civil. But there's some feedback, of course, that are coming through. Okay, my WhatsApp, okay, this one says, parents are scared of what their country, their children are growing up in, and because of this, they are not letting them use the opportunities around them to better themselves as individuals. I don't think that is preparing these children for the future. That is Nalule Patricia on Twitter. Someone here says, it's a controversial, yes. I can tell you, women are determined to bring the boy child down. The impact of no families in the future, feminism, because we fear these women increased in gender and best violence is all there. Include us in whatever you're advocating for. That is the women and their emancipation there. We're still going on. Let me read some feedback from the WhatsApp. Wow, what a program indeed. As Mr. Fajil Mande says, we need to somersault. We need apprenticeship back. Fred Musoke watching live from Vienna. Thank you, Fred. I'm personally believing that patriotism is a very nice thing, especially in schools, because it has personally helped live a good life and also transform it into a better citizen. Once I learned all the principles of it. Thank you, Madam Semko, for the effort. Though I missed the training. This is Betty Namaganda. Solomon says, I want to commend Mr. Mande for his thoughts. I want him to comment about the failing systems like the police, the judiciary, the education system, with copying of exams and so many others. I think that frustrates the fight for a better Uganda. Uganda first, thanks for the show. We need more. Mr. Fajil Mandi's education system is slowly going down. The quality of students is so poor. Look at the graduates we're producing. They are merely job seekers. Wilbur seems disturbed about what is going on, and he has a point there, comrade. This one says, I believe time should be created for young ones to build brains straight from kindergarten. Beyond that, their brains cannot be limited to grasp whatever comes. Julius from Matuga, thanks for being a part of this conversation. As I wind up, someone says, why is it that some universities don't have clubs for patriotism, especially private universities? Is the program for only public ones? Say schools and universities. Madam Samka, I want you to respond to that. Then last but not least says, thanks for the show. Patriotism is a double-decked ship. Mr. Fajil can agree that young ones can learn much from emulation. We beseech our leaders and elders to behave in an exemplary and patriotic manner. Then we will follow suit, other than preaching to us patriotism while they act the contrary. I'll start with you, Mrs. Simcoe. Patriotism, given that you come from the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps, briefly, how are we going to deal with what he actually said? Is it only for design structures of public organizations or even private ones? And if so, how do we apply?
Even private ones. But like I said, I think it got into universities like shortly before COVID. Indeed. Yes, because it was a step-by-step. Things in Uganda are done by mandate. Our commissioners need to go to parliament, ask for a mandate, then it is allowed, then parliamentarians say, no, there is no mandate. That is a waste, like one person said. Yeah. So it is a step-by-step. It is there in the universities. Can't we tap into the presidential supplementary budget? No, sir. To fund this vision? No, sir. Because somebody already commented that Uganda is Museveni, Museveni is Uganda. Yes, the presidency. That kind of thing. Yeah. Patriotism is not for the president. It is for us Ugandans. Okay? Many of us Ugandans are going to live long after the president. Of course. By natural causes. What Uganda do we want to live in? What Uganda do we want to live with or without him? With or without him. Yeah. That is what we are building. That is what we are building. A Uganda good for everybody. In fact, one of the slogans of patriotism is, Uganda is our common plate. Yeah. We eat all from there. From Uganda. Yes. If it is our common plate, what do we want it to be? You, the young leaders, when you are president tomorrow, what Ugandans do you want to govern over, to preside over? Which type? Those who cherish the values of patriotism, or those who are wild and don't have any value? To protect. To protect. Which ones do you want? That's a big question. To every Ugandan. That goes to every Ugandan. So, about the public universities and private, it is not only for public universities, it is even for the private ones. Oh, yeah. We have been to many private universities in Uganda. So, the person who asked that question, depending on the division in which you are in and Kampala, the district. Get in touch with the people there. They will get to you. Thank you so much. Mr. Fajil Mande, as you're finalizing, as you're winding up, what are your parting shots to Ugandans?
Well, I just want to say, one, let's not be satisfied with only what we have done. There is a lot more we can do. And we have got the abilities if we organize the abilities. Number two, we've got to change the way we are working. The way we are working, because we want to achieve new things. Even the National Development Plan, are you getting me? Yeah. Has got to be achieved, but not by doing things the way we've been doing them. So let's look at that. Number three, we need to seriously skill every citizen in this country. Because development is not going to be brought about, okay, by only one sector. It is everybody. We must have a capacity building program throughout the country all the time and done at a very fast and accurate speed.
Thank you.
Okay?
Well, that brings us to a very great conversation. Thank you so much for being part of the conversation of Uganda Fast every Thursday, 11 to noon. You and I are having a conversation with my distinguished guest on how best we can become a great country that is transforming to a greater height. Before we wind up the conversation, the question is, what do you have in your hands? And what are you doing to protect your country? Are you loyal to your country? Do you give out information about your country that damages your country? I'm Andrew Chamagiro. Have a laugh.